Well, hey there, everybody. We're glad to be with you today. This is an unusual, or let's say not normal call, right? It's something we've been talking about, and David's getting everything set up. Well, we're good already, David. Awesome.
I'm
We're
becoming more efficient.
look at that, yeah. So we're streaming on YouTube these days. We're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on Instagram. We really up leveled our StreamYard, haven't we, David?
And we're bringing on guests. Look at
We
us.
are. Look, I know.
We're going all in now.
That's right. But folks, we wanted to just welcome you today because we thought, you know what, it's time, new year, new opportunity to really just share some things that are going on and in our DLG program in our community. And we thought, what better thing to do than jump on and do a Facebook Live? And we do have a guest today that we will be talking to, and that's Martin Wood here. And so Martin, we'll give a little bit of details about why Martin's here in just a few minutes. But where we wanted to start was really kind of just for those of you who maybe are new to us, or it's been a while since you heard what we were doing with our Design Launch Grow program. We want to kind of just reshare the vision of what it is and why we created it, but also where we're going today. That's in 2024. And so, David, I'll let you jump in and kind of maybe give a little bit of the backstory of like where did this all begin, right? As kind of that looking back, but also where are we today, and so where we're moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, the reason we started DLG or Design Launch Grow is simply because we knew there was a big need out there for people who felt like they had something inside of them. They felt like they had wisdom, they had experience, they had skills that they had learned over the course of their lives, and they wanted to be able to share those. And there's a lot of people, especially people of faith, who have this feeling inside of them that they have a calling. They have something inside of them, that there's something that they're supposed to do, and they're supposed to share a message. And it doesn't even need to be a religious message. It can be something that's just, I see a problem in the world, and I have the ability to solve that problem. I know the answer. I know how to do that. I've learned that through my years of working and different experiences. I know how to do those things. And I want to be able to put these things out there to make a difference in someone's life. Because again, you think about it, if you can help someone who's struggling with their health become more healthy, if you can help someone who's struggling with a relationship have a better relationship with the people in their life, if you can help people become better financially so that they're not having so many financial pressures, all of those things make a tremendous difference in people's lives. But the challenge that so many people faced was they had the experience, they had the knowledge, they had the expertise, but they didn't know how to turn it into a business. They didn't know how to take that and turn it into something where they could reach people and present it in such a way that people could be helped and served, and to be able to make a difference to them, to get the message out so people would say, yeah, I'll buy that. Mm-hmm. I would definitely join in on that because that's exactly what I need. How do you go through that process, and how do you do that effectively? And that's why we started DLG, and that's why it's continued to grow and develop the way that it has.
Yeah.
And as we went through all this, we kind of went through this whole journey, and we've been working with clients the last while and going through and learning from them and understanding what do they need. Mm-hmm. And we realized, yes, we've created a ton of things already, valuable tools, resources, and so forth that are out there already for people to use. But we realized that we really even want to hone it in even more.
Right.
And that's a little bit of why we're here today, is we want to talk about why are we making changes? And we're not taking anything away. We're just adding. Mm-hmm. We're adding additional lanes, additional services to the program, because we realize that there's some things out there that, this is an important part of the journey. Yeah. When you're an entrepreneur and you're going down this process of learning how to build a business, there's a lot of elements that go into all this. There's a lot of things that are a part of all this. And, you need to be prepared to handle those. You need to have that support in place. Otherwise, you're going to get lost. Otherwise, you're going to struggle, and it's going to be very difficult for you.
Yeah, I mean, you remember when we first started talking about doing this together, I had a friend who has his own business already, but he said he wanted to do some coaching. And he said, would you help me map out how to start my own coaching business like you've done? And it really made me pause, because at that point, I hadn't even thought about coaching people and doing what I was doing specifically. It was more just doing it, right? And so it made me think about all the different steps that I took to get from where I was to where I, was at that point, especially. And in through all that, you and I were connecting, and I said, David, I think I can help people get from here to here, but with your experiences, you can help people get from that point and really move it forward to the scaling level of things because of all the things you've done. And so, even just the journey we've been on individually and then coming together has been very interesting. And like you said, listening to our current members and what they're going through, the challenges. And I'll tell you, I talk to people who have dreams. I had a friend text me today who has written a book, who has a dream of doing some speaking and training. And she's still in that early phase of trying to figure this whole thing out. And, it's like, but for somebody that hasn't been down that path before, there's a lot that can be confusing and intimidating. And so that's where DLG, our Design Launch Grow program, really, I think, comes into that. And so we want to give these updates today because there's two key things that we wanted to share about today. And the first one is what we want to talk about with Martin and why Martin is here. Martin has been a friend and a colleague for many years now to both of us. Martin has played an integral role in both of our lives, David, and speaking into our lives from a faith building perspective and helping us navigate a lot of different both business and life challenges that have come along the way in this journey. And so, Martin, you're up in Toronto, right? You're in Canada, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, sure. And then we'll talk about where you're going to fit into what we're adding as a layer this year.
Oh, that'd be great. Thanks, Chris. First of all, thanks, guys. This is an amazing opportunity. Yeah, as Chris said, I'm the Canadian, and I technically live outside of Toronto. I live in a city called Mississauga, similar to Mississippi.
That's right.
Syllables. My journey is one I have been blessed that I was brought up in a Christian family, and from the time that I was breathing, I was going to church. So praying and reading the Bible was second nature. However, as a result of that, I began to go on a God hunt because especially myself and a few other young men or in our 20s, we were like, we're reading about the Bible and we're going, okay, if the Bible says that God doesn't change and he doesn't, why are we not seeing the same God? So that sent us on a God hunt, among other things. Some of us did short-term missions and a variety of different things. But in the end, what ended up happening as a result of the God hunt, Father gave me a prophetic gift. And so basically what that means is he will give me messages for people. And sometimes, most of the times, I'll have no idea what he's going to have me share, but he will somehow connect either part of their faith journey or their business journey and how he brings the two things together. And so that was and is what I do when I'm not having amazing calls with guys like you. So.
Well, it's exciting, and that's and it is very unique, and David, even the idea of bringing faith and business together. As I've talked to a lot of people they struggle with that because they're so used to things being so siloed in life. And as we've been kind of going down this path, Martin's been key friend and a mentor in a spiritual way to both of us. But we also realize there are a lot of people that are in our program already, and those who we talk to that, this whole entrepreneurial journey is so challenging at times, right? There's a lot of great things. There's a lot of those highs, but there's also a lot of valleys and challenges to navigate. And I know, and what, David, maybe speak to this is you talk a lot about how the importance of a community and people around you to speak life into you to help you navigate that is so important. And that's where I know you and I started to talk about how Martin could really fit into as another layer to what we're doing for DLG to help people be successful.
Well, and I agree. One of the things that, Chris, you and I have talked about a lot over the last couple of years is that we've observed that there's one main reason why people quit. Because people will feel this calling. They'll feel like they're being led to create something or to do something. And then they get working on it and they get going for a while. But then it's like after a while, a lot of them will throw in the towel and they'll quit. And inevitably, what ends up happening is it's the same thing that I see over and over. It just shows and manifests itself in different ways. And that is people get discouraged. And discouragement settles in. Discouragement hits. And a lot, how it usually works is that you go in and you think, I'm going to start this business and it's just going to be easy and it's going to take off and go. Well, any of us that have been entrepreneurs for a while know that's not exactly how it works. It's never quite that easy. It's always a lot more challenges. There's a lot of peaks and valleys. It's an amazing opportunity, and we love it with everything in our heart. But easy, as I said to someone else, so this isn't the easy path.
Right.
This isn't the, I'm just going to, if I want the path of least resistance, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. This is not it. This is not the path. So what ends up happening is you have things that don't go the way that you thought they were going to go. And you can get discouraged. You can find that like point in your life where you're like, man, things are just not going the way that I wanted, or things aren't happening as quickly as I wanted. I really wanted to be a lot further along right now, and I'm still fighting through these other issues to get these other things set up. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have the ability to blame someone else. I'm like, if it needs to get done, it's up to you to figure out how it gets done. You can't blame your boss or your coworker and say, well, it was their job. No, it's all you now. And you either have to do it yourself or you have to find someone to help you do it. There's always all these things that it all keeps pointing back to you. And sometimes you're forced to do things that you're really not great at, things that I need to do this and I'm not great at that stuff. And yet it still has to get done. And there could come those points where it just becomes very discouraging, or stuff happens. And this is stuff that I've shared. I sent this out in an email earlier today talking about this. And this is really how Martin and I really started to develop this kind of a relationship. Was a few years ago, I went through a process where I had a business with another individual, and it was really successful. Had been doing great and amazing things. And at that point in time, my business partner decided that he wanted the business all for himself and turned against me and forced me out of the business. And it was an incredibly difficult period of my life because I had poured my heart and soul into that business and had given everything that I had. I was, working 80, 100-hour weeks, putting, and it wasn't just work, it was my heart.
Right.
I was giving my heart to that business and investing everything. And then to have it all stripped away, and then to watch the next 2 years as that business was slowly burned to the ground and turned into a pile of ash. It was a very difficult thing to watch as your creation was just dismantled and destroyed. And, there was all sorts of nasty things that happened to you as part of it. Well, that was a very difficult period to go through. And it was incredibly discouraging. And there are moments where I just, you can feel that towel in your hand. You feel that little white towel in your hand and you're ready to just throw it because you're like, this stinks.
Yeah.
I'm done. I've had it. I don't want to do this anymore. And inevitably what had happens, the only way you stay in it and the way you keep going, the way you keep in the fight is if you have people around you who believe in you. If you have people around you who are willing to speak that truth in love, who are willing to look at you and say, all right, is this really what you think you're supposed to do? Do you really think quitting is the choice that you're supposed to be taking? And if you're like most of us entrepreneurs, you will answer, if you answer honestly, you'll say no. But I'm so discouraged. I'm so frustrated. I'm so, beaten up from all the stuff that's happened. I just don't know if I could keep fighting. Well, Martin stepped into my life during that period when I was very worn out and tired and beaten up from all the stuff that had happened. And he sat there and just used his gifts to speak into my life and to see things. And his prophetic gift just allows him to be able to see and speak things that a lot of people wouldn't be able to.
Right.
And I'll just leave it that way. And he goes in and he just speaks into your life and you kind of go, how in the world would be able to say those things and to know those things and to be able to speak those things. And I jokingly have always referred to that.
Yeah, there we go.
the Martin experience, because I've watched other people I was on a call and watched other people have a conversation with Martin, and I watched their eyes get big and they're like, what? Yeah. Like, but it's always encouraging. It's always uplifting. It's always building of you as a person. It's always there to make you stronger. It's always there to encourage you, to lift you up and to pick you back up and get you on your feet and get you going again. And you just realize that this is a critical part of being an entrepreneur. It is battling yourself, because you realize the biggest person who stands in the way of your success is you. Yeah. And your ability to stay in the game, your ability to work through challenges, your ability to not give up, and to develop that intestinal fortitude that I'm just going to keep going. Yeah. That's what keeps you going. Because if you will try, the fact is, if you have a problem that you're facing that's keeping your business from moving forward, if you will keep trying and keep trying different approaches and keep trying different ideas, eventually you will solve it. Yeah. It's just a proven fact that, and people say, well, I've tried everything. Well, the answer is no, you haven't, because if you have tried everything, you would have had a solution. Yeah. You haven't tried everything yet, but you want to give up too easily. And having someone who can build your faith, build your belief, who will speak truth into you and keep you encouraged and keep you moving forward is invaluable. Yeah. And I just cannot say for my own life, thank you, Martin, for all the things that you've done for me, for all the difference that you've made in my life. You will be my brother from here to the end because of the things that you have done for me. I cannot even repay you. I just don't know how to say thank you, other than from the bottom of my heart, you know how much I appreciate you. And I just want to now take this and to be able to share some of this with other people, because I know I'm not alone. Right. I know I'm not the only person who went through difficult things, who's facing challenges and internal struggles on their journey to be able to fulfill this calling that they have in their life. And so that's why we're bringing Martin into DLG, and we're going to start doing monthly calls where everybody can hop in, and Martin will be there, and he'll be there to speak into their lives. He'll be there to build them up, to encourage them, to keep them on the track, of keep them going, and build their faith and to build their belief in themselves, in their calling, and in their God, to be able to keep moving forward and keep taking steps.
And one of the things I wanted to just tack on, because Martin, I want you to share too on this, but you and I connected really, we were accountability partners in a business coaching program, right, that David had created. And so David's experience with you and mine, as far as relationship, you and I started on the business side and then talked more on the faith side there. And so I think it's interesting how these worlds have really merged, right? And so why don't you share a little bit, just so people understand, like, what does a monthly faith building call look like, and why, and from your perspective, why does it matter?
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question, Chris. I just wanted to highlight, Dave was talking about voices. I think as an entrepreneur, you're constantly battling voices. You're battling the voices of your past, the voices of your present, and the voices of your future. If you believe the voices of your past, that will hold your present and your future hostage. Your past voices, whether they're, and here's the interesting thing, whether it's successes or failures, no voice has the right to hold you hostage from where you're going and where you're meant to be. Why I am so excited about this is because this isn't just for people of faith, but we are men of faith, and we're not apologizing about it. The voice that I hear and the voice that I speak from is Father. And David and Chris will testify that when I hear a word, I seek as much as I can to tie it to Scripture, because I can say I hear from God, but if it doesn't somehow tie to Scripture, there's less likelihood that it's Father speaking, and it might just be me. I don't want any of that. First and foremost, there's a verse in the Bible. It's always used for evangelism. It's Revelation 3:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. And if you open the door, I'll come in and have food with you. there's this lie that's going on in the body of Christ that God only wants us for the relationship that we're going to have, i.e., when we give our lives to the Lord. And that's true, but it's only a half truth, because Father created us for community and for relationship. That means every area of your life that you want to see succeed, he wants to help you succeed in. But he's waiting for an invitation. That's what this faith-based call is. It's Father coming to you, knocking on the door saying, I know what you're facing, but guess what? I'm going to bring someone in to show you a different voice, a different perspective. I kind of call it this way. A lot of the ways that the enemy will try to rob, steal, and destroy is he will show people an image of themselves. The problem is it's a funhouse mirror and it looks distorted. What Father gives me the ability to do is spin the funhouse mirror around and go, it's a full-length dress mirror. This is how Father sees you. This is how he sees your business. This is how he sees your relationship with him, and therefore your relationship with others. Go, because he's equipped you to do it. But unfortunately, too often, many times, the voice that they don't hear is the voice of the Creator. It gets all mumbled and all jumbled. And I believe that especially now, for people, David spoke about calling, there are some people who have this burning sensation of they may not understand why they're here, but they know they've got something to do. Well, these faith-based calls are going to help them to understand, yes, there's somebody else who's going to come alongside. There's a community who's going to come alongside and say, yes, we believe that you do have this. How can we support you?
That's so important, I think, folks. And, and all this is, I remember when a colleague, a mutual friend of ours, she told me, she said, Chris, she goes, Martin has been sharing with me, this is years ago now. And she's like, I can't tell you how many times things he's spoken have ultimately come to pass and come true in my life and in my business. And it's one of those things where it's been an upgrade in my own faith to believe that those things can be spoken into existence, that God has something more, right, for us to do or to become in this journey. And I think that's so important in all this is that David and I, David, you and I've talked about this rather like on our podcast and everything else where, the journey isn't just about creating a business and earning income, right? It's about who you become and the personal growth side of this that is really the bigger picture, the bigger significant piece of all this. And I think bringing Martin in as a partner in this to have these faith-based calls to build our faith, to help us through the challenges is just going to be truly instrumental because once again, we talk about tactics on a weekly basis with our coaching calls, right? Every Wednesday we have a coaching call that our members can jump into and ask questions, and we help them with those business tactical things. But you and I have talked over the last few months, like we knew that this day was coming. Like we saw it coming where we're like, someday we want to bring Martin in, we want to have a call. And as we entered the new year and we started to look at what are our values as a program, what are our values as people, this was too significant for us to leave out any longer. And we started to see, the need for our members to have, a voice because Martin, I think one of the things that has been so interesting to me through our calls one-on-one has been, I'll take pages of notes, but there's just images and there's key nuggets that you've often brought out that, we all need that objective third party perspective, right? Like we don't see for ourselves the way others can see for us. And you see in a very different way than most people would experience. And so I'm excited about this. Tactically, we're going to start this once a month in our program. And David, is it February 13th is our first one, I believe.
Correct.
At 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have our first faith building call. And so, over time, we may expand that to more than once a month, depending on the need and the volume of people in our program, but we're going to start there. And so we're super excited about that. That's number one why we wanted to have this call today. So thanks, Martin, for sharing that.
My pleasure.
And I hope people just get a feel for what the intentional and outcome of this could be. But the other part, David, is that we have also been working on, you had mentioned towards the beginning, just trying to continue to upgrade, not taking away from our program at all of what we've already created. But we realized, the more we can kind of dial that in and hone in, the more specific we can get, the farther, faster someone can go in their business building journey. And so we've come up with, and we're still in the process of finalizing these, but we're calling them success pathways. And they're really roadmaps for action steps to take in 3 different lanes. So why don't you speak to us about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think about it this way. If someone came along and told you, like, this is exactly what you need to do in a step-by-step manner, wouldn't that make things a lot easier? Like, if you're facing a challenge, you have something that you're looking at, I don't know how to do this, but someone lays out a roadmap for you and says, okay, this is what you need to do first, this is what you need to do second, this is what you need to do third, and so on and so forth. Life just became a lot clearer and a lot easier to do, because now you just need to do the work and you need to get the things done, but you're not standing there going, I'm not sure what my next step should be. Yeah. And so that's what we wanted to do with our success pathways, because we've realized, as we've been working with people here so far, is that we really have 3 lanes that that our clients are really wanting to engage in and have success in. One is the coaching path. Mm-hmm. Which that can go a few different ways. That you can do one-on-one coaching. Maybe you want to be a coach that, I want to work with people individually in a one-on-one setting. Great. That's one lane that you could go to. Another one is you could do like a group coaching program, and you could have people, come in on groups, and you're engaging with each other, and you're learning from each other, and you're answering questions as part of a group format. The other one, and that's more of a terminal, as we've mentioned in the past, where I want to complete a project, but when I'm done with the project, then I don't need to be part of the group.
Right. Time bound. It has an end date.
It's time bound and has an end date to it. Or the last one is a membership, whereas more of it's an ongoing process. And that's why DLG is a membership, because starting, designing, launching, and growing a business and scaling it up, it's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing journey, and it's an ongoing thing throughout time. And so you need the ongoing ability for support for the next challenge, for the next thing you need to do, for the next part of the journey. So we have a lane that's dedicated solely to helping people build a coaching business. Mm-hmm. And I take people down that pathway, and I go through step by step by step, everything that you need to do and everything you need to know in order to be able to get that coaching business up and running. Mm-hmm. So that's one lane. Another lane is the course creator lane. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our people, and a lot of this too is people aren't necessarily in one lane. Sometimes they're in more than one lane. Sure. And so the other lane, next lane, is the course creator lane. It's like people want to create they want to create a course. They want to create some type of, content-based program where they do videos and workbooks and guides and different things that they put out there, and people can sell it for a lower cost. Mm-hmm. Because it's not about me getting on a one-on-one call with you all the time, because like one-on-one coaching is amazing and tremendous, but it's not very scalable. Right. Because you only have so many hours a day that you can do calls before you're out of time, and frankly out of energy after a while. Right. You're like, okay, I've been on calls for 6 straight hours. I need a break. I can't keep doing this. So a course is a great way for you to share your knowledge and expertise in a format that can be repeated over and over and over again. And people can access all the training, and they can get to it, and you can sell it cheaper than you can coaching, because you don't have to be hands-on and involved. Right. And so it's a great, great way to be able to generate passive income. So we're going to have an entire success pathway, if I could say it, dedicated to course creating. Yeah. So if you want to create a course, how do you create a business that is about how do you create a course correctly? What's the right way to build your course? What's the right way to design it, to lay it out? What's the right way to market it, get clients, so forth. We've got the whole thing laid out in a pathway. And again, you're going through step by step by step, all the way down the pathway, and you could just follow through the steps. The last pathway is a trainer pathway, which is, we realize that some people want to take their similar skills, their coaching skills, their speaking skills, their training skills, but they actually want to take it into a business or an organization, and they want to do workshops for a company, or they want to do like speaking engagements for them, or they want to coach some of the executives of that company, and they want to be involved in that. And again, it's using very similar skill sets, but it's changing the audience somewhat.
Right.
So instead of working with individuals, you're working with companies or organizations and helping them become better at what they do and helping them become stronger. And that's really a popular thing among like leadership coaches like Chris is. They want to go in and help leaders of organizations lead their organizations well. And those are tremendous opportunities. I mean, those contracts can be 5 and 6 figure contracts for some of them to get signed up to go in and do this. And, you know, you can really make a nice living doing training for organizations. So we're going to have a third success pathway that goes through step by step, like how do you define who your target customer should be? How do you create that great offer? How do you reach out to people and start getting, you know, interactions with companies? How do you get introduced to different people? How do you start building those relationships so you can get hired to go into some of these companies and start getting that business for yourself? And how do you get those contracts signed and all that process as well? So there's 3 pathways that we're really laying out for people to be able to go into and just go straight like, okay, great. This is the one I really want to start first. And maybe you want to do more than one, but you want to, first thing I want to do is I build a coaching business. Great. There you go. It's all going to be laid out right in front of you, and it's all going to be put right in order. And you start at step 1 and keep going until you get to that point where you're starting to really have lots and lots of success. Because too often we see people that are just getting lots of information, but it's not organized in a step-by-step process that leads them through a 1, 2, 3 type process where they don't know the first, second, and third steps that they should be taking to be able to have success. So that's what we're doing, is we're trying to just really align these things with the needs of our clients. And again, all the other resources are still there. All the other training is still there. Nothing has been taken away.
Right.
Everything is still in the program, but we've really we're finalizing them now. They'll be up shortly. Trust me, I'm ready to be done. I'm putting lots of hours into these things, and I'm ready to have them finished. So they will be up on the site soon, and you can go through. And again, you can go through and just follow through on the steps, follow through on everything, and it's going to show you exactly what you need to do. So if you're out on a Tuesday afternoon and say, I need help with something, go to your roadmap. Find where you are on the roadmap. You don't need to be stuck. You can watch a video. Okay, that's what I need to do next. Good. All right, now I can keep moving.
Yeah. Well, and we're actually, as part of this too, we're simplifying and streamlining our website. So when members log in, it's even clearer, you know, because once again, this has been a work in progress for a while now for us with this. And we had the Design Launch Grow 3 segment lanes. That was the original vision, but it's continued to get more and more narrow so that we can be more targeted to the type of business you really want to build. And I want to just reiterate too, we are not creating a one size fits all, like do it our way. And that's how you're going to get success. Our goal with our program, even these success paths, they are guiding you through a process, but it's still you using your unique business idea, your unique message, your unique style to formulate the business that you want. Because that's one of the things, David, I know that we've talked about in the past too, is, you know, there's lots of best practices out on the online and in the world that people say, well, they've been successful one way, so they think that's the way. And there's so many different ways to be successful. And so we want to make sure that, you know, everybody understands that these are still, they're giving you a path, they're giving you structure, but they're not holding you hostage to a specific style or approach of business. And I think that's really significant, because most business coaching programs that we've at least come across is, you know, somebody basically being successful in one way and saying that it becomes the way, and it's just not, you know, it's so much bigger than that. So super excited about this as well. Don't want to take up too much more time, folks, but David, I know we wanted to just kind of give people a recap if they've not been familiar with, or it's been a while since they heard what is in our Design Launch Grow program. I believe you have something you want to share on what you get like when you join our program.
Yeah. Let me get this Okay, you want me to upload a file?
Yeah. Naturally, technology is it's not when you just pop up the slide.
All right, hold on. There we go. No, I don't want the wire.
Well, he's looking for that. I'll just say this: go to designlaunchrow.com is our website where you can learn more in general about the program as well. And if you have any questions, there's a contact button on there as well to let us know. But we would love to answer any questions. But we just want to make sure that you are aware today of what comes, as being a part of the membership community, because we've been very intentional and strategic over time to lay this out so it makes sense. So David, I'll toss it over to you now that our screen is sharing.
Yeah, I didn't want to pull up my presentation for some reason. So I'm like, all right, I got to go refresh something to make you actually acknowledge that it's sitting over here. So, Yeah, we wanted to give just a real quick summary, just to remind people who are already part of the program what's in there so you remember, because we do have a lot of resources in there. Or if you haven't been part of the program yet, like what all is in there. So what do you get when you become part of this? So really, we've designed this to be a coaching program first and foremost, where we really believe in the three big pillars, which is content, coaching, and community, which is you need instructions on what to do, which is where the content comes in. You need the coaching, which is the ability to ask questions of someone to help get guidance, get your questions answered. And you need community of people around you who are on a similar journey to support you, so you're encouraged and so forth as you go through it. And then we have our design, launch, grow modules that fit all around that. Now, to do all this, again, that's what I'm talking about with the content. The content are those trainings that show you each step that you need to do, all the stuff you need to go through. The coaching is where you have a guide that you can ask. And again, how many times we bought a course, we bought something, and it's like, this is great information, but how do I apply that to my situation? How do I actually sit here and go, I need to put that into my business. How does that fit for me? Well, a coach can help you take that and say, okay, here's how this should work for you. This is what you need to do. And that's why coaching is such an important piece. Then the next part is the community. And the community is just where you are part of a group of people who get what you're trying to do, who get what you're trying to achieve, and they're on similar journeys as you. And again, I've had this so many times where if you have a group of people that's your pack, so to speak, like these are the people I like to run with, these are the people that get me, because when you're an entrepreneur, a lot of times the average person doesn't understand what you're going through because they're working at a job somewhere. They don't understand what it's like to face the pressures and the challenges of being your own business owner, and to go through all that and being around other entrepreneurs or being around other business owners who get you and understand, yeah, I'm going through that too, is invaluable. So you have people that can relate and understand what you're going through. And then we put all that out into our Launchpad program that we have in addition to the pathways. So some of the things that you get was we have the success pathways, which is the things we've been talking about already. That's really, the three pathways that we have. And we also have the client Launchpad, which is like, I don't even know where to start. I need to just even start at the very, very beginning. Our client Launchpad is designed for you to help get real clarity on who you are, who your ideal client is, and what your ideal offer should be for them. So we have all that. The content library is where we have literally hundreds of videos, training guides, workshops, recorded coaching calls, all at your fingertips. So if you have a problem, you have something that you need help with, and it's 2 a.m. on a Thursday because you can't sleep at night, you can literally search the library and find help. There's so many resources there. It's almost a little ridiculous how much stuff has been put in there at this point. And then as well, coaching, again, we do coaching calls every week where you can hop on and just like, hey, I don't know how to do this. I'm stuck. And a lot of times people have challenges with technology. Like, we have that frequently. Like, I don't know how to do something. I don't know how I'm supposed to integrate this or how this is supposed to work on my website. Well, that's what we're here to do. We'll walk you through it. We'll help you get it figured out. We'll help you put it into place. Additionally, we've had times where, we've saved people money. You know, we just recently had somebody who was, got a big fat bill from their hosting company, their web hosting company, and they're really like a little distressed about it because they're like, oh my goodness, this is a lot of money. I'm concerned because this is really going to be a big bill I didn't want to pay. I sat down with them, we reviewed everything, and realized they're paying for a lot of services they don't need. And by the time I was done working with her, we had knocked over $1,000 off that bill.
Wow.
So the amount of money that she saved simply by getting on a call and asking me, hey, David, do I need this? And having us, and we looked at exactly what she had in her account, exactly what she was paying for, and all of that. And I'm become a really big proponent of being much more minimal in the services and the software that you're using and paying for. You don't need to pay for all these different programs because it just ends up sucking a lot of money and being very expensive. So we can help you save money on that side, and that even pays for all the support that you're getting. And then again, we do these community, and we have a Facebook group that's just for the members of the program, and we have monthly meetups, so we can get together like we're talking about right now with our faith building call, where people just get together and they just share what's going on and how they're doing, and they encourage each other and they give each other fresh ideas and feedback. And it's really a great way for people to just learn from each other and grow from each other. So it's really, really valuable and really, really powerful. I cannot understate the value of the membership or of the community. And again, this may not be something you're aware of, but we actually have 2 pathways that you can join. The one, which is the $147 per month, is where you can hop on our weekly coaching calls. You get access to everything. And again, when you think about it this way, if you were to hire a coach to coach you, it's going to be more than $147 for an hour. Yeah. Let's just be honest. So for an entire month, you get 4 coaching calls, plus the community, plus all the support, all the help. You can hop on once a week. And it's the cheapest business coaching you're ever going to get in your entire life. But if that's a little stretch for your budget right now, we do also offer a $30 a month plan, which is everything except the coaching calls. So instead of, you're not really able to hop on the community calls or the coaching calls, but you have access to all the content. So you have access to everything that is all the success pathways, the client launchpad, all the training videos, all the resources, all of that. So if you're more of a like, hey, I'd like to just do this on my own. I'm a self-starter. I can do this. And I'm really, trying to watch the budget a little bit, for $30 a month, which is, less than a tank of gas a month this day.
Half a tank of gas.
Depending on how much your car holds for gas, that's, less than 10 gallons of gas. And so for $30 a month, you could have all the resources and training at your fingertips. No need to go out and buy other courses. No need to go out and buy other programs. You could have it all in one place for just $30 a month, which is incredibly affordable. You could do all that and have access to all that and save yourself buying $1,000 course and a $2,000 course and to do all that. And it's just a great way for you to do that, as well as we add additional training videos and resources and tools. You'll get access to all those as well. So if you're interested, head on over to designlaunchgrow.com and you can get started today.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we thank you for the time that you've invested checking this out, listening to what all is going on in this world of ours that we call Design Launch Grow. We are super excited about where we are heading. 2023 was a great year, and it was a lot of refining, I'll say, maybe is the right word for us. We've continued to once again pay attention to what's going on in the world of our clients, and how we can even continue to up level and upgrade what we're doing. 2024, we were super excited. David and I got together in person in what I call his lair there where he sits right now. And we did some mapping out and dreaming about what does 2024 look like, and what are the values we want to make sure we're upholding, what are the pieces and components that we want to make sure are included. And that's where this idea of like it's time to really bring Martin in and start the faith building calls. It's time to take those next steps, get these roadmaps finalized and finished here in the first quarter. And then we are just excited. So if you, like David said, if you need that kind of help, if you're looking for the training, you're looking for that coaching support, you're looking for a community, check out designlaunchgrow.com, and we would love to have you in our program. We are super excited about where things are going and what is possible for you and your business. And once again, it's going to be your business. We want to make sure it fits you, that it's not about David and Chris have this exact model that you have to do. No, it's what is the model? What is the plan you want? And then we come alongside you and help you build that, because we just do believe that there's a lot of different ways to accomplish the goals that you have. So check out designlaunchgrow.com. And other than that, Martin, thank you so much for joining us today. And
my pleasure.
Helping us introduce you to what's coming and for people to hear your heart. And then David for sharing all this. I think it's been great. And we just look forward to where we're going here. So take care. God bless. And we will see you guys probably on the podcast, EIS Live sometime soon here.
There we go.